Welcome, anatomy and physiology students. This is an optional video to kind of walk you through the Google Classroom, what to expect, where to find things, and how to find things on your online textbook. So I'm going to walk you through that. You can see my screen right now with all my different classrooms. I'm going to click on 5th period for an example. 6th period should look the same. We have our stream page. Stream pages are geared towards announcements. I'm going to continue to use them to post you a reminder for your Zoom links and your Google Forms for your attendance and any other things that we need during that first 5 minutes of class as you're coming from the waiting room and entering into the classroom. So this week you can see so far I've put there the week at a glance and a reminder to bookmark your classroom webpage. This Google site has week at a glance on the homepage. It also has all the links for things like Kahoots and PowerPoints. All of those are here. All right. If you need supplies, a few of you have said you did not have Play-Doh or clay. So if you need any materials for the first few labs, you need to be coming in Wednesday according to this schedule of last names. I'll be passing those kits out September 23rd, but you are not required to. So if you feel like you have things like thermometers at home or whatever, or Play-Doh or clay, then you do not need to come in. All right, then we're going to click over here to classwork. Under classwork on the left, we are going to click on this week, which is 09212020. I have tried to pull all of these out separately for you for separate submission as requested. So here you're going to see this is a new assignment for fact or fiction signups. I'm also trying to put this little hint here for you. This is daily work, meaning during live synchronous class, we are going to do this during class. And if you click on instructions, it will tell you, place your name by one of these claims. You will be finding and saving or printing a scientifically valid article that supports or rejects a claim. After our science literacy discussions, we will have more instructions on what to do with these articles. Okay, so that is kind of the instructions page. I've noticed some of you not getting all the way into this document. All right, I'm going to go back to classwork. The next thing here, we see chapter 1. Oh, sorry, I need to get back to the right agenda. And I have an ed puzzle, how to read peer-reviewed articles, how to do a review of lab safety, a review of some research ethics. So kind of still this chapter 1, introduction to science information. This one's from Britain, I believe. But it gives you a lot of these things that we need to consider when we're doing research on people. Then a puzzle that is about chapter 1 topics, like an introduction to anatomy and physiology. This next one says, try this out. This is a really great way to know if you're ready for chapter 1 test in 2 weeks. You have 3 options to demonstrate your knowledge and efforts at review and practice of information in chapter 1. You can, number 1, handwrite notes from your electronic book into a regular notebook, take photos, or share on Google Classroom, and share on Google Classroom. Or number 2, you can copy and paste notes into your digital notebook and share on Google Classroom. Or number 3, if the Smart Book is as good as the one I use for AP Environmental Science, I highly recommend using these because they're meant to be interactive and adaptive to what you already know or don't know, which is your chapter 1 Smart Book. There is no submission necessary on these because I can see it and enter it directly into Skyward. So, but you do need to choose one of these 3 methods, and it is always going to be due the day of the test. So for each chapter, the notes for that chapter that you'll be able to use on your test are going to be due the day of the test. That way I know you had something that you could use while you were taking your test. So budget your time and efforts. I'm hoping to have you ready for your first chapter test in a week and a half to 2 weeks. And just so you know, if you do not pass your chapter 1 test, you will have to complete the Smart Book before re-earning points and playing Kahoots and quizzes. So one of the ways that you will demonstrate your learning later, if you don't do well the first time, is you will come to office hours and play some games until you do demonstrate your knowledge. So failure is not an option if that is your concern or worry. So I'm going to go to my bookmarks So you can do it this way, or I highly recommend you bookmarking your actual McGraw-Hill site. I'm going to go to it two different ways here. One straight from Google Classroom, and you can see it brings me to the exact same page both times. And I'm going to go into 6th period this time. Why not? One of the features I like are calendars, because calendars are going to list due dates and they're going to list the assignments. I would ignore these e-flashcards because so far it is opening up to a blank page. If I can get this to actually show you flashcards, they're usually matching and it'll time you and how long it takes you to match. But at this moment, that feature of their online textbook is not working. This one is also an option because it is a PDF and is not allowing you to do anything with it other than print it and practice it. If you do it, that's great, but it is optional. I would like you to be doing things that are digital and that I can see what you're doing. So we're going to go, though, to the Smart Book, the one part of this that will not be bonus, that is required if you choose this route rather than just handwriting your notes. So we click here. We view it. I want to open it. Oh, it's not going to let me see it from your guys's. Okay, let me go back to a student view. Here we go, Smart Book. All right, so this explains what the Smart Book is and how to use it. This is your entire book here, the ebook. What I want to talk about with this ebook, because you could do your notes from this as well. The Smart Book's just going to monitor and quiz you and then send you forward or not send you back if you need it and you still don't understand it. So Smart Book's a little bit more about interaction and adapting to your learning. This is just straight up your electronic book. The thing I wanted to point out that some students seem confused about is, see this little page number right up here? That is what I'm referring to on your instructions for your assignments for case studies, diseases and diagnoses, and the career corners. So when I give you a page number for your book, you need to look up here to find it. So if you look at this and you're going through it, you're going to see page 5. This is your start to your case study. You're a summer intern at Applied Physics Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University. In the lab you'll be working in, engineers are developing a robotic arm, and so on. Okay, and then it tells you what to do. Make your claim, collect evidence, explain your reasoning. These will be at the beginning of every chapter, and then it's going to ask you to come back at the end of chapter and readdress this from whatever you learned during the chapter. So there'll be 2 different colors of ink or pen that you can use to show me that. If you're doing this in your digital notebook, which has a little tab that says case studies, you can do it in there as well. Just highlight and make it a different color of text. All right, so if I scroll through here and then I go to my next page, I need to look at these to find the actual pages for the different references that I've been giving you. So there should be one. There's the levels of organization that we were studying last week. Here's the characteristics of life that we did. And we are going to be, this is where we're moving into now, is maintenance of life and homeostasis. This is what our next lab activity, this is what I'm asking you on the weekly agenda to take notes on for a lab background section. So having a separate notebook for labs is great, and handwriting this is better for your brain, but you're welcome to make a different tab in your digital notebook and do it that way as well. But we're going to take notes for background. And then probably the most intense keywords and new terminology sections are here, kind of about the organization of the human body. So this is all the body regions, knowing something called relative positions, knowing about your cavities. This is really what your operating on clay people was about. But as you scroll through here, you are eventually going to come to some of the practice assessments and the reference plates, which have all the pictures in them. These are great. We have art books that look just like this. This is going to help you find all those organs. And one of the things I want to point out about these drawings is they are in general always done superficial to deep. So you're looking at different layers. So when I say in your operating clay people, your kidneys look too low and too superficial, I'm talking about looking through these so that you can see how deep something is. So you'll see on this last one, we see the kidneys, and they're very deep because they are in the end of these different art pages, and they're not down here where I'm seeing students usually put them. Okay, they're up here fairly close to your diaphragm. Okay, so just get used to kind of scrolling through these and looking for these different layers, these different parts of your torso. All right, so that is it. I just want to make sure you're really kind of looking at this. Don't forget that there is a table of contents so that you can kind of scroll to whatever section you're wanting, so you don't have to go page by page. And we're going to be doing these chapter assessments here in the next week and a half. Let's see up here. You can actually do highlighting, okay, and things like that if you prefer ebooks over handwriting your notes.